My beloved, stand still. Stand still like the calm before the storm of blessings. Stand still like the hush before heaven opens its windows wide. For this is no ordinary day. No, August 5 is dressed in sacred cloth. It is kissed by divinity, wrapped in the incense of promise, and blessed by the whispers of angels. It is a day when heaven leans close, a day when the waters, yes, the holy waters, stir with purpose. Ah, my dear! Let me speak to your spirit as one who has walked through the shadows and still found the sun rising on the other side. Let me speak to the part of you that still believes in divine timing, even when the clock seems to move slowly and the calendar flips with no change in sight. Let me whisper to the worn, down places in your soul that need to remember, God has a schedule too, and August 5 is etched into his heavenly planner. You see, August 5 is not just another square on the page, not just another Monday, Tuesday, or Friday blurred by routine and repetition. No, child, it is marked in gold. It is drenched in meaning. It is kissed by prophecy. That day was carved out by holy hands before you were even formed in your mother's womb. Long before you knew struggle, before you knew bills and burdens, before you knew lack, August 5 stood in eternity, waiting for you to arrive. This moment, this day is not coincidence. No, there ain't no such thing in God's vocabulary. What we call coincidence, heaven calls design. You've been praying, haven't you? You've been crying in the midnight hour, with a pillow soaked in silent tears. You've walked through seasons where the cupboards were thin, and your pockets even thinner. You've stood at the altar of hope, with trembling knees, asking, when, Lord, when will you remember me? Well, child, heaven heard you, and heaven remembers. August 5 is not about the date alone, no. It's about what the date signifies. It is the summons. It's the gentle knock on the door of your spirit, saying, get ready. It is the signal, not from man, not from social media, not from government or gossip, but from the King of all kings, that a shift is coming. It is a moment ordained not by accident, but by divine arrangement. And only those who are watching with spiritual eyes will understand. There are days when the wind carries something extra, something electric, something sacred. And August 5 is just such a day. On that day, the veil between the seen and unseen becomes thinner. The prayers you whispered in the dark start to echo louder in the courts of heaven. The angels stand ready, wings stretched, waiting for the go ahead to deliver what has long been held back by spiritual resistance and earthly delay. Beloved, I do not say this lightly. I do not sprinkle sugar on the truth to make it easier to swallow. No, I serve it whole, rich and raw. You must treat this day as holy. You must walk into August 5 with expectation, not hesitation. You must approach it not with anxiety, but with anticipation. For God has assigned it. Not just for anyone, but for you. Don't miss the hour. Don't sleep through the spiritual sunrise. On that day, you are called to participate, not just observe. This ain't no spectator's blessing. This is a participant's miracle. You are to rise early, not because the sun demands it, but because your soul needs it. You are to move with intention, not with rush or ritual, but with reverence. You are to prepare your heart, your home, and your hope. And how do you ask? By opening your spirit to divine instruction. By listening not with your ears, but with your soul. God speaks not always in thunder, but sometimes in stillness. August 5 will whisper to those who are quiet enough to hear. That day will unfold like a letter from heaven, but only if you're willing to open it. Too often, we miss our miracles because they don't arrive in the wrapping we expect. We're looking for fireworks, and God shows up in a breeze. We're waiting for angels to sing, and instead, He sends a nudge. But if you've been praying, God, send my blessing, then you must also be willing to listen when He says, child, it's coming. Be ready. You see, heaven doesn't operate on human time. You might think your prayers are delayed. You might feel like you've been forgotten, bypassed, left behind. But let me tell you something that the old mothers in the church used to say. Something that still rings true through generations. God may not come when you want him, but he's always on time. And August 5, that is his time. That is the day when the skies begin to shift. That is the day when the rivers of heaven start to flow toward your life. That is the day when the chains that held your increase back begin to rust and fall. But not without your faith. Not without your participation. You must show up. You must believe. You must trust that something sacred is unfolding, even if you can't see it yet. Do not underestimate the power of a divinely appointed moment. There are windows that open only for a breath of time. There are blessings that require obedience to be unlocked. And there are days, like August 5, that God has chosen to visit your house. Will you be ready? Will your heart be open? Will your home be prepared? Let your spirit rise like incense on that day. Let your worship be louder than your worry. Let your praise be stronger than your panic. Don't you dare let August 5 pass by like every other day. Set your alarm. Anoint your doorposts. Prepare your altar. Speak life into the air. This is the day the Lord has made, and he made it for your prosperity. Oh yes, I know what it's like to wait and not see. I know what it's like to believe and not yet receive. But I also know what it feels like when the day finally comes. When the door creaks open. When the promise stands in front of you. When God says, now. August 5, beloved, is your now. Treat it as holy. Honor it with faith. Approach it with reverence. For it is not just a date, it is a doorway. A threshold. A sacred station where the train of favor is scheduled to stop at your name. So prepare, watch, pray, and walk through the day as if heaven is watching. Because it is. And remember this, God is never early. He is never late. He is always, always right on time. And this time, beloved, is yours. There is a stillness in water. Oh, yes, there is. A silence so holy, so deep, it speaks louder than thunder if your soul knows how to listen. And when that water is blessed, sanctified, kissed by the breath of the Almighty, it becomes more than just moisture. It becomes holy. It becomes a vessel, a bridge, a sacred whisper between heaven and earth. Too many have walked past holy water as if it were ordinary, as if it were just droplets in a bowl, as if it were merely a remnant of tradition or ritual. But I tell you, with the fullness of truth and the wisdom carved into my bones, it is not ordinary. No, it carries weight. It carries memory. It carries power. It remembers the prayers spoken over it. It remembers the scriptures sung into its depths. And when touched with faith, it remembers its purpose, to cleanse, to consecrate, and to call down the divine. There's a reason the ancients used it. There's a reason our grandmothers anointed their doorposts with it. There's a reason prophets dipped their fingers into it before speaking. Because holy water is not just symbolic, it's prophetic. It is living. It is sacred. It is a part of the earth kissed by the Spirit of God. And when you hold it, when you touch it with the hand of faith, you are not just holding water. You are holding a promise. And in that promise is prosperity. Not just coins jingling in your pocket. No. I'm speaking about prosperity that stretches beyond the material. Prosperity that fills the soul before it ever fills the bank. Prosperity that clothes your mind with peace before it ever puts a garment on your back. Prosperity that first flows through the corridors of your spirit before it pours into the corridors of your home. Let me make it plain, childy. When holy water is used not as a superstition, but as a statement of faith, it becomes a conduit. A passageway for the supernatural to touch the natural. A declaration to the heavens that you still believe. That you believe in cleansing. That you believe in protection. That you believe in God's abundance. Not man's, not the world's, but God's. Now hear me. Holy water doesn't work because of a priest's blessing alone. It doesn't move mountains just because it's stored in a bottle. No, it becomes a mighty force when you, the believer, activate it with your faith. Because the water in itself is a gift, but it is your faith that opens it. You don't need a cathedral to use holy water. You don't need an audience. What you need is reverence. You need understanding. You need to know that what you hold in your hand has washed away centuries of darkness. It has stood at the edge of miracle and moved the impossible. It has drawn boundaries against evil. It has soaked into the earth and left peace in its wake. Holy water has history. It has memory. And when you pick it up, when you use it on purpose, you become part of that holy history. On August 5, the instruction is not random. No, it is spiritual. It is timed. Heaven is calling you to use what is holy to unlock what has been hidden, to step into a moment so divine that it demands action. Not just hope, not just prayer, but movement. Take that holy water, child. Take it with trembling hands or strong ones. Either will do, as long as they are hands of belief. Touch the doorposts of your house. Anoint your bedroom. Sprinkle it at the threshold where confusion has walked in too often. Wipe it across your forehead in the name of clarity and vision. Let it drip onto the windows that have watched your worry. And while you do it, don't be silent. Speak. Speak life into your atmosphere. Speak scripture into your spirit. Speak prosperity into your home, not from a place of desperation, but from a place of divine expectation. Because holy water moves differently when paired with a word. And God, He watches over His word to perform it. Not one drop is wasted when it's poured in faith. Not one tear, not one prayer, not one act of obedience. Holy water, my dear, is not a magic trick. It's a holy agreement. It's a sign. A symbol that you understand your place in the divine story. That you know God works through the earth, through oil, through salt, through water, to accomplish the heavenly. It's a reminder that your faith can take form, that your trust can have a touch. Now, don't misunderstand me. This is not about ritual for ritual's sake. No, this is about intimacy. It's about the closeness of the sacred. It's about believing that even in something as quiet as water, God is present. That even in the simplicity of that element, His greatness dwells. You see, God never needed a crowd to work miracles. He only needed belief. He never asked for fanfare. He asked for faith. And if you, on this holy day, use the water not with fear, but with courage, not with doubt, but with hope, then, darling, something will shift. I have seen it. I have lived long enough to know. A woman once anointed her front door with holy water before her son left for war, and that son came back whole when others did not. A grandmother once sprinkled it on her sick child's pillow and sang hymns through the night. That child rose up strong the next morning. I have seen women walk the length of their homes, barefoot and bold, with a bowl of blessed water, declaring prosperity, and poverty had to pack its bags. So don't tell me it doesn't work. Don't tell me it's just tradition. Because I know better. I know the sound of demons backing up when the faithful speak life. I know the power of a mother's whisper over a child's bed. I know the trembling of strongholds when a believer takes what is holy and uses it with authority. Use that holy water on August 5 not to impress man, but to invite God. Use it not as habit, but as warfare. Use it not to get rich in money, but to get wealthy in grace, wealthy in health, wealthy in wisdom, wealthy in soul. Use it because you believe that heaven still touches earth, that miracles still happen, that water still parts, and blessings still flow. Hold that bottle like it holds your breakthrough. Pour it like you're pouring out your fears. And when you're done, look around your home, your life, your future, and expect change. Because holy water in the hand of a believer becomes holy ground. And where there is holy ground, there will always bed prosperity. Rise early, beloved. Before the city rumbles to life, before the horns blare and the coffee brews, before your phone flashes with the noise of the world. Get up. Let the stillness hold you like a warm shawl. Let the silence be your sanctuary. For the early morning is when heaven leans in. It is in those precious hours when the Lord himself walks softly through the earth, calling out to those who are listening. And on August 5, you are not to just wake. You are to prepare. You are to move with reverence, with intention, with the grace of one who knows that God is coming by. For this is no ordinary morning. This is the dawn of something sacred. And what you do in these hours will echo not only through your day, but through the corridors of your future. You are to take the holy water, that blessed vessel of heaven's touch, and you are to anoint your home, not casually, not quickly, not like one rushing through a chore, but with care, with soul, with the deep understanding that you are inviting the presence of the Most High into the very air you breathe, into the spaces where you live and love and weep and hope. Begin at the door, the front of your home, that door that swings open to welcome the world and closes to keep the sacred inside. Touch it gently with holy water. Speak life over it. Say aloud, even if in a whisper, Lord, let only peace enter here. Let every step across this threshold be guided by grace. Let no harm come near this dwelling. Let lack lose my address. A move to the back door, for even the hidden places matter to God. Anoint the exit, for it is not just a passage for people, but for energy, for spirit, for influence. Say, Father, bless every departure. Bless every coming and going. Let angels guard both front and back. Let no evil linger in corners. Let this home be a dwelling place for your glory. And then go to the four corners of your house, not just physically, but spiritually. Every room, every hallway, every window that watches the world outside. The corner where laughter lingers. The corner where pain once wept. The kitchen where bread has been broken. The bedroom where dreams have been dreamed and sometimes deferred. Touch them all. Let no space be untouched by your faith. Sprinkle the holy water and declare, this home is covered. This family is protected. This roof shall not leak in the storm, nor this floor give way beneath the weight of trials. This house shall prosper, not just in wealth, but in wellness, in worship, in wisdom. In this place God shall dwell. Some may think this strange, may call it foolish, but let them scoff. Let them stare. For those who have walked with God know that he often requires something physical as a sign of something spiritual. Moses had a staff. David had a sling. The woman with the issue of blood had the hem of his garment. And you, my dear, you have water. Blessed, holy, faith-filled water. Use it. There is no room too dark for light to enter when you carry the flame of faith. There is no corner too forgotten that God cannot fill with his favor. And as you walk from room to room, you're not just sprinkling water, you're claiming territory. You're saying to heaven, this belongs to you. And you're saying to hell, you cannot have this place. Don't just anoint your home, announce yourself. Dip your fingers in the holy water and touch your forehead. Let it be a reminder that your mind is not a playground for fear or confusion. Say, Lord, renew my thoughts. Anchor me in truth. Let every lie be drowned beneath your living waters. Anoint your hands, those beautiful instruments of creation and labor. Say, bless the work of my hands. Let everything I touch prosper. Let no curse cling to my effort. Let no failure poison my progress. Anoint your feet, those humble soldiers that have carried you through storms and valleys. Say, order my steps, God. Lead me in paths of righteousness. Let me walk away from what no longer serves me and walk boldly toward what you've ordained for me. Anoint your children, if you have them, whether they're infants in your arms or grown with homes of their own. Speak over them. Call their names. Say, let my lineage be blessed. Let no generational curse survive this water. Let my children walk in light. Let their future be steeped in favor. Anoint your bed. the place where you rest and wrestle, the place where dreams take root and nightmares try to creep in. Say, let this be a sanctuary of rest. Let no torment disturb my sleep. Let your angels stand guard as I lay down. And while you do all this, pray. Speak to God like a friend, like a father, like the mighty protector he is. Don't read prayers, declare them. Declare peace. Declare abundance. Declare health. Declare favor. Declare that your home will be the place where miracles begin. And as you finish your walk through your sacred space, stand still for a moment. Let the silence speak. Let your heart catch the rhythm of heaven. Breathe deep. Let the fragrance of holiness fill your lungs. Because what you've just done, child, is no small act. You've not only invited God in, you've declared war on every spirit that tried to live in your space without rent. You've said, enough. You've drawn a line in holy water. You've reminded yourself, and every force in the unseen realm, that this house belongs to the Lord. Now go on and live like it's true. Set the atmosphere with worship. Keep your words clean. Keep your spirit humble. Keep your mind focused, because once the presence of God enters a space, you must tend it like a garden. You must protect it like a treasure. For the Lord does not visit where he is not welcome. He dwells where he is honored. And from that dwelling, prosperity will flow. Not the kind that fades with fashion, but the kind that endures, that multiplies, that stretches into generations, the kind that fills your house with laughter and your days with strength. So when August 5 arrives, do not treat it lightly. Walk through your home like a priest in your own temple. Use your water like oil. Use your words like fire. Use your faith like wings. And watch, just watch, how heaven answers. Prosperity. Oh, such a sweet and mighty word. A word that has been twisted, stretched, and shaken until its true meaning is almost forgotten. People have chased it like a wild horse through fields of silver and gold. They've tied it to bank accounts, stock markets, and the size of homes. But child, let me tell you something true. Prosperity is not always something you can fold and tuck into your wallet. No, prosperity lives deeper than that. It breathes beneath the surface of appearances. It sings in silence and walks softly through the chambers of the soul. And when the Lord speaks of prosperity, he is not just speaking of dollars and diamonds. He is speaking of wholeness. He is speaking of a life that is full, not merely filled. Now lean in, child. Let me pour this truth into your spirit like honey and tea. Prosperity is waking up in the morning with peace in your chest and breath in your lungs that sings. Thank you, Lord. It is having a mind that is not tormented by yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears. It is knowing that what you have may not be much, but it is enough, because God has stretched it like fish and loaves, and it has sustained you. You see, the world sells a prosperity that rots, the kind that can be stolen, taxed, or taken away by the ticking of the clock or the tremble of the economy. But heaven offers a prosperity that grows roots. It doesn't blow away with the winds of trouble. It doesn't collapse under pressure. It is planted deep, down in your spirit where no thief can reach and no drought can touch. Oh yes, child, God's prosperity begins in the soul. It begins when you no longer measure your worth by what you wear or drive. It begins when your joy is not based on how others treat you, but on how God sees you. When you walk into a room and do not need validation, because you already carry divine affirmation, that is prosperity. It's being able to forgive even when the apology never comes. It's being able to rest at night without wrestling your pillow, because you've learned to cast your burdens at his feet and not pick them back up before morning. It's being able to dance in the kitchen with nothing but music in your heart and hope in your bones. That's wealth, baby. That's abundance. Let me tell you, a woman with peace is richer than a man with a mansion but no rest. A mother with praying children is wealthier than a queen with diamonds but no love. A soul anchored in God's promises has more than one who owns lands but has no faith. Now listen here, prosperity is not anti-wealth. It doesn't frown at success. It doesn't shame riches. No, it simply places them where they belong, beneath the throne of God, not above it. Prosperity is when the money in your hand does not become the master of your heart. It is when your increase flows from heaven's storehouse and not from manipulation, greed, or fear. Prosperity is walking in purpose, knowing that every step you take is aligned with the assignment God placed inside of you before the world called your name. It's finding joy in the journey, not just in the arrival. It's waking up every day with the sweet assurance, God has me. God has this. When you anoint your home with holy water, when you speak life over your family, when you invite God's presence into every room and every corner, you are not just preparing for physical blessing. You are preparing for spiritual prosperity. You are declaring, as for me and my house, we will be whole, we will be well, we will be richly wrapped in the presence of the Almighty. Some folks only want the fruit, but they don't want to plant the seed. But child, you are planting something holy. With every drop of holy water, with every whispered prayer, with every act of obedience, you are sowing prosperity into your atmosphere. And let me say, this God's prosperity is generational. It doesn't stop with you. It overflows. It blesses your children and your children's children. It echoes down family lines and lifts up what was broken in generations past. It says, the struggle may have started with them, but the blessing will continue with me. Prosperity is when you don't panic over closed doors, because you trust that God opens better ones. It's when you don't beg for crumbs, because you know there's a seat for you at the King's table. It's when you're not impressed by loudness, because your soul has learned the language of stillness. Prosperity gives you the ability to wait, not with worry, but with worship. Let me put it plain, prosperity is knowing God is enough, even when you feel you are not. And don't you ever believe that you're too small to be blessed, too broken to be chosen, too late to be called. The God who made you did not run out of miracles. He did not run out of mercy. He did not run out of plans. His prosperity is limitless, and when he pours it out, he pours it pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So don't you dare let anyone tell you that prosperity is wrong, that it's selfish or sinful. No, what's sinful is hoarding what God meant to be shared. What's wrong is chasing wealth while abandoning your soul. But when God prospers you, it comes with peace, with purpose, and with protection. And when you anoint your space, when you bless your home, when you declare with your mouth that God is your source and man, not luck, not hustle, you are aligning yourself with a prosperity that cannot be revoked. So walk in it, child, not with arrogance, but with assurance, not with pride, but with praise, because your God is not a stingy God. He is not a miser in the sky. He is a generous Father, a giver of good things, a well that never runs dry. And if he dress the lilies in splendor, if he feeds the sparrows day by day, what more will he do for you? You, who are fearfully and wonderfully made. You, who have been chosen for such a time as this. You, who still believe. You, who still hope, you who still pray. Prosperity belongs to you, not just in hand, but in heart. Not just in bank, but in being. Not just in blessing, but in belovedness. And on August 5, when you walk through your home with holy water in hand and faith in your spirit, know this, you're not just making a ritual. You're making a statement to heaven and earth. I am ready. I am open. I am aligned. Let God's prosperity reign in this house, starting in me. Faith, my beloved, is not a feeling. It is not a flutter of emotion that passes with the breeze or rises only when the sun shines warm upon your skin. Faith is movement. Faith is action. Faith is when your feet take the step before your eyes see the path. And obedience, yes, Obedience is where that faith finds its voice. It is how the soul says to the heavens, I believe you, even when I don't yet see you. So you see, what you do with that holy water isn't about tradition. It's not a ritual for ritual's sake. It is a sacred agreement between you and the Almighty, sealed with motion, touched with reverence. For God moves in response to faith expressed, not just whispered. He listens not only to what your lips say, but to what your life does. Some wait on miracles with folded arms. They sit, hoping that heaven will drop blessings in their laps like rain from a storm. But those who know the rhythm of the Lord understand, when the water stirred at the pool of Bethesda, only those who moved were healed. And when the Red Sea parted, the children of Israel still had to walk through. God moves, yes, but he moves with the movers. So when you anoint your home with holy water on August 5, it is not magic. It is obedience. It is not superstition. It is submission. It is you saying, Lord, I heard you. I trust you. And I will do this, not because I understand all the hows and whys, but because I know the who. And you, God, are faithful. Every act of obedience releases a sound into the heavens, a sound that angels recognize, a sound that demons fear, a sound that shakes the gates of lack and limitation. You may think the act is small, just touching a few corners with blessed water. But, beloved, the power is not in the size of the act. It is in the size of your surrender. Let me tell you, obedience has always been the doorway to overflow. When Naaman dipped himself 7 times in the muddy Jordan, it wasn't the water that healed him. It was the obedience. When the widow poured her last oil into empty vessels, it wasn't the oil that multiplied. It was the obedience. And when Jesus turned water into wine, it began with a simple instruction, fill the jars. The miracle followed the motion. And so it will be with you. When you take that holy water and bless your door, you are not just wetting wood. You are commanding protection. You are declaring, no weapon formed against this threshold shall prosper. When you anoint your child's pillow, you are placing peace at the gate of their mind. When you touch the kitchen, you're not just sprinkling a surface. You are inviting God into the heart of your home, saying, let there always be food, fellowship, and faith in this place. There are blessings, child, that require your participation. God has the power, yes, but he wants your partnership. He wants you to trust him enough to do what seems strange, what seems unnecessary, what others might mock, because that is where faith proves itself. That is where miracles find room to breathe. Too many are waiting for a sign in the sky, a voice in thunder. But sometimes the instruction comes quietly. A whisper in your spirit, a nudge in the early morning, a call to do something simple, something holy, something like anointing your home with water that has been blessed by the prayers of the saints. And here is the beautiful mystery. God hides power in simplicity. He wraps glory in clay. He places the sacred in the small. He chose a manger over a mansion. He used fishermen, not kings. He walked dusty roads instead of golden halls. So don't you dare look down on this act because it doesn't sparkle. Obedience doesn't always shine, but it always works. Now understand, this obedience is not always easy. It might feel strange. You might question it. You might stand in your hallway with that bowl of water and wonder, is this doing anything? But I urge you, don't go by what you feel. Go by what you know. And what you know is this: God honors obedience. Always has, always will. Your obedience on August 5 may be the very thing that shifts your household. That stops cycles of fear. That ends generations of struggle. That opens doors money could never touch and influence could never budge. You may never see the full extent of what your obedience does, but heaven sees and heaven keeps record. It's not about being perfect. It's about being willing. It's about saying, Lord, I don't have all the answers, but I will obey. I will walk the halls of my home and declare your promises. I will speak over my life what you've said in your word. I will do the physical thing because I believe in the spiritual reward. And when you obey, something powerful happens. The atmosphere shifts. The very air feels lighter. Your home becomes more than walls and floors. It becomes a dwelling place for the presence of the Most High. And where God dwells, lack cannot stay. Where he dwells, confusion must go. Where he is welcome, prosperity follows. Obedience is how you make room for what's next. It's how you say to God, I'm ready. Ready for the overflow. Ready for the healing. Ready for the breakthrough that's been knocking and waiting for your eyes to open the door. So on August 5, don't second guess. Don't delay. Rise with the sunrise.